Welcome into To Your Health, and we're going to do our last segment on sleep disorders.
Sleep.
Trust me,
Yeah.
Jack, everybody out there, it's either something you have had, do have, or will have.
Amen.
And we can guarantee that.
That's right.
But we are so lucky to have with us Michael Dodd, who is the director of the team at the Sleep Disorder Center. And we had covered sleep apnea, and we wanted to talk about some of the other sleep disorders.
Certainly. As I said, there are 84 currently diagnosable sleep disorders that our sleep disorder team can look for.
Number one was sleep apnea.
Sleep apnea is
What's
the
number two?
one. I don't know if there's really a number two, but
We're going to have you on all year, you know.
some of the other sleep disorders that we look at are narcolepsy, periodic limb movement disorder, REM behavior disorder. We can see seizures during sleep, so we can do sleep studies where we look at not only sleep apnea, but are you having seizures during your sleep? So those are some of the, like I said, 84 the disorders out there that we can look at. Narcolepsy specifically typically starts in your teenage years. It's a disorder where patients are just excessively sleepy. Regardless of how much sleep they get, they're still considered to be sleepy. So we actually do an overnight sleep study, and then during the daytime, they stay with us for a series of nap studies, where we see how quickly it takes them to fall asleep across the course of the day. A normal person, it would take about 10 minutes. In narcoleptic patients, they can fall asleep within 30 seconds of any time their eyes close.
Wow.
So we do see quite a few patients come through for that as well. And then periodic limb movement disorder, which is where your legs jerk during the night. Restless leg syndrome, that's another one we look at. Many patients experience that as well. So it can run the gamut.
So what causes seizures during sleep? You wouldn't even know you had them, I assume, as the patient.
You would not. We do have a neurologist that's also board certified in sleep, so he does send us quite a few of those patients. Patients that they don't really know what else is going on. I've actually seen patients that had such severe sleep apnea that would cause them to have a seizure.
Wow.
I've seen that before. So that's the thing about sleep. Most people have no idea what's going on because, of course, you're asleep, so you don't know. So that's why coming to us and letting us look at that can make such a huge difference in someone's life.
So for every one of these things, I think what's so exciting to me is there is something that can be done.
Absolutely. Whether it be for sleep apnea, we usually go with CPAP, which is a mask that a patient wears, helps open their airway up, keeps them breathing normally. And then for the other sleep disorders, there are medications usually. One of the things we see a lot right now that they don't necessarily come through our sleep center but go to our sleep specialist for is seasonal affective disorder. That is something that happens in the winter time. Usually it's a result in the decrease in the time of light because again, light plays a huge role in our sleep patterns. The decrease in serotonin level that patients experience during the winter also causes seasonal affective disorder. It's where patients they just get more moody, they get depressed and sad. They go to our sleep doctors, and usually that's a medication issue usually, that they give them a medication to help them with
And
that.
I'm going to ask
What about the little nose strips that you see advertised on TV if a person's a snorer? Does that, I mean, I'm just...
It can help with snoring, but honestly...
But it doesn't treat this, it's just a Band-Aid, no pun intended.
It is a Band-Aid.
It's a Band-Aid.
Yeah, because sleep apnea usually happens deeper in the airway. And you really need a pressure barrier to push that airway open. Yep.
I think that we need to address this, the safety and the use of sleeping pills.
Absolutely.
And I think, with all that's going on now, I would like to get an opinion from you.
Sure. We actually had a meeting just this morning where we discussed that. Sleep medication is definitely overprescribed. Many patients go to their primary doctor, they complain about, I'm not falling asleep, I'm having a hard time staying asleep. And unfortunately, one of the first things they do is they throw medication at it. And what we try to encourage patients and trying to encourage our primary doctors are, investigate a little bit more, because that patient that's having a hard time falling asleep or staying asleep may have one of those other 84 sleep disorders that medication is only going to make worse. So that's what we encourage.
Okay, I think
Isn't there like an herb called melatonin?
Melatonin.
definitely melatonin helps many people. Many other people it doesn't.
Okay.
The studies
But
are
it's not
varied.
a dangerous thing.
It's
is
not
it?
dangerous.
No.
It's a very safe medication, and if you want to try melatonin, I think our
Yeah.
sleep physicians would be fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't help a greater number of the population as the other sleep medicines like Ambien and Sonata.
So would I be safe in saying that when you get into taking sleeping pills, you have to have a lot of knowledge, you have to know the pros and cons, and you have to be very sure that you don't fall into the trap of abusing that?
Absolutely, 100%. Very well put. Yes. Anytime your physician prescribes you a sleeping medication, you need to know all those things, and hopefully your physician is going to know whether or not it's going to benefit you. Because if it's simple insomnia, sure, one of those sleeping medications may help. But if it's not insomnia and it's some other hidden sleep disorder, that medication can make the patient worse.
Well, I think stress, of course, affects your
Right.
ability to sleep, and I have seen situations where I think the sleeping pills are appropriate for that period of stress someone is going through.
Sure.
But I think when you're talking about those medications, we
No,
need
you
to
don't
be
wanna do
sure we don't fall into that long-term trap.
Absolutely.
So, you have been wonderful.
Thank you so much.
so much, Michael.
You're very welcome. I'd love to come back anytime.
We
Great.
would
We'll-
love
we
to
will be
have
We'll be
you.
calling on you.
Fantastic.
Because we still got about 72 more things we've got to find out about.
Exactly right.
Thank you for being with us so everybody can get a good night's
right.
sleep over Thanksgiving and Christmas. And we'll be right back.